Hey, hello. Scott Stevens, Goldsboro City Manager, here for our October monthly update. We've waited till mid-October to film this. It definitely feels like it's fall weather today. I hope those that are enjoying the cooler weather have an opportunity to get out. I'm sure in terms of leaves falling and those kinds of things, October and November will be like many years. Remind everybody, November 3rd, city elections are going on, so I would encourage all of you to get out and vote and support your candidate of choice. But again, November 3rd will determine who our elected officials are for the city of Goldsboro for the coming 4 years. Continues to be an exciting time in Goldsboro. A lot of projects, or a lot of municipal projects, are wrapping up. The F-86 aircraft, I hope you have had a chance to ride by and take a look at that, where we put it up on a pole behind the wing sign on Ash Street. It's center in downtown. We've had a lot of really good comments. Our contractor worked with us really well, and again, we want to say thank you to the folks at Seymour Johnson for all the time and effort they put into restoring the aircraft. And again, I think we have it in a location where we can enjoy it for many years to come. And we're working on some uplighting for the aircraft and so forth and so on, and to make it really present itself well at night as well. Do want to thank the community for the presentation of moving it down Ash Street, although it turned out to be during the week morning. People were still out watching it move, and we had very few, if any, negative comments that got to me about the aircraft causing delays for them. So again, thank you to those that it bothered, but I hope others were able to enjoy the aircraft moving down the street. Again, we dedicated the GWTA Bus Transfer Center September 19th. We had a great turnout that Saturday, and again, if you have not had a chance to get by the Transfer Center that's at the end of Walnut and Carolina, I'd encourage you to go down, take a look, park your vehicle, walk inside. I think you'll be very impressed with our local artists that decorated the facility and then the construction of the facility, and certainly a much better location in terms of a place to wait for a bus if you're using our transit system, as many residents are. Center Street ribbon cutting, we have set the date of November 2nd. It'll be somewhere between 4 and 6 p.m. and we'll have an evening of activities. Would encourage you to make plans to attend. We'll have some time where we have an actual formal presentation, and then we hope to have a small parade in our new finished blocks and involving merchants downtown, and everybody seems to be excited that the project is finishing up. So again, it's November 2nd. We'll get more information out to you about that somewhere between 4 and 6 p.m. in that afternoon, and would certainly encourage you to come be part of that celebration. We've talked about it for a long time. This past year has been a tough year in terms of business downtown, but we are wrapping it up, and again, the excitement seems to be very high around that project. Something that's generated a lot of discussion as well is the public art, from the fountain that was installed some months ago to the art pieces that were installed October 16th. Opinions vary on that. I've heard on every piece, I've heard somebody said they really loved it, and I've heard other folks say they're really not sure about it, don't care for it. Most of it is leased art, so I guess maybe all 4 pieces that were installed Friday are leased art. The city is paying for 3 of those pieces, the tune of $2,000 a year to lease it, and then at the end of the year we could either buy it or change it out. And my guess is the intent was to go through changing it out. So if you love it, great, it'll be there for a year, enjoy it. If you don't like it, great. You've got a year, and 11 plus months from now we'll be changing it out to something else, and you can have an opportunity to have your input on that. But I think that is one of the challenges and maybe the good things with public art. It generates discussion, and it's difficult to find a piece that everybody believes is right. A Kaboom Build Day. We're building a playground in Herman Park Center to replace the existing one. We have significant donations in money from Blue Cross and Blue Shield, from the City of Goldsboro, and then some other donations from United Way and Wayne First. And then on top of that, volunteers from Wayne Memorial Hospital and others in the community. We're looking for many volunteers the Build Day, which is November 14th. So if you're looking for a community project to be involved in, don't hesitate to give us a call. You can call my office at 580-4330. Tell us you want to volunteer for this Kaboom Build Day, and we'll get you in touch with the folks that are arranging that and make sure that we are got you accounted for that Saturday in November. But again, November 14th is the Build Day, and again, this piece of playground equipment will be valued in excess of $100,000 and will be quite a show, and meant to be a community event as well as something good for our kids long term. The Goldsboro Event Center, formerly the Goldsboro Country Club, we've been working on it, at least internally inside, where you couldn't see just a whole lot for the past 3 or 4 months. We have finally got permits issued to do the new work that goes on inside, and that has started in earnest, as well as we have let or gone to construction with demolition contracts on the outside, removing a lot of trees from the site to open it up to the golf course. Heard a lot of good comments in the last week about that. We're going to tear down the tennis building that was outside. We're refurbishing the soft clay tennis courts, tearing down some other small buildings on site, and then trying to clear out the front so that, again, from Slocum Street you can see into the site. And so you'll see that work occurring in October, but I would encourage you to go by and take a look, and I think you'll be very pleased once we open that facility. And our target date for us is late November, early December. So if you have an event in January or after, call us. We will get you on the list in terms of holding a reservation for that. We've not officially opened up our reservation taking, but I am certain it'll be ready for events beginning January 1st, maybe as early as December 1st. So again, if you have an event, get in touch with us. I think you'll find it to be a great location. Large ballroom, 2 other meeting spaces that will probably hold 40 to 80 people in each of those rooms, and then a catering kitchen. So we won't have a full service kitchen as it had before, but it will have the ability to bring in an outside caterer and serve whatever group or event you have going on. We have a lot of sewer line utility work going on throughout the city. It's part of identifying where we had the worst leaks or the worst pipes or the most water getting into that we were, rainwater and groundwater that we were seeing at our wastewater or our water reclamation facility. In many of those cases, we're doing significant street damage, meaning digging up the middle of the road, replacing laterals over to people's yards, so you have a lot of pavement torn up. Initially, our plan was to patch that. We did go back to City Council and ask if they would be okay with the idea of spending a little more money, but to resurface those blocks where we have done that kind of extensive digging into the current asphalt. Council was supportive of that. So although you may have gravel out in front of your home a little longer in some of those blocks, once it is done, we will resurface in the entire street where we have done significant work. And if you want to know, where your street falls into that, don't hesitate to call, again, the 580-4330 number, and we can answer that for you or get you to the folks that could. One thing that may not affect you as much as a city resident, but is of real concern to our city employees, is our health insurance. There was a bill introduced in our state legislature in June that would allow the city to move its city employees to the state health plan. We are discussing that with City Council. I expect the recommendation, I know the recommendation from staff will be to move to the state health plan. I expect our City Council will think that that is a good recommendation as well. Save a significant amount of money for the city, close to $1 million a year for the city. Saves our employees and their dependent coverage costs, or what they pay to add their children or spouses or families to our plan. And then also provides better coverage for our employees, really meaning better deductibles. Instead of having a $2,600 deductible, they'll have the choice between a $700 deductible or a $1,054 deductible. Again, very same as what state employees are on, and so again, that should be a good switch for all of our employees and for financially as well as the city. So more to come on that, but for our employees, that's pretty significant. In the police department, we continue to have violence within our community. Our department, I want to commend the officers and investigators for, the quick arrest into those cases. I think the message is, if you do a violent crime here, you will get caught. And we've been very consistent in that and very good in our clearance rates for homicides and other violent crimes. We continue to run our GPAC program that continues to work in sentencing of those that have reoffended, which again, the number who have reoffended from that program have been very low numbers, but then their sentences have been worse than they would have been otherwise. We have also lost 17 officers, and we've taught this year, since January 1st. We've talked a lot with council, various reasons for that. But some of those we can correct, some of those we cannot. Some of those are retiring, some were terminated, some others again have gone to the sheriff's department or other agencies. But there are things that we can do to make it better for our officers, and I just want the community and our officers to know we're working towards that. Our pay, it turns to be average or better, so our pay, or at least our entry-level pay, doesn't seem to be the issue. We do run into compression issues after an officer has been here for 4 or 5 years. Somebody coming on board today may make the same number or same amount as the person who's been here 4 or 5 years. We're working to address that through a senior officer or a police officer 2 or a master police officer type of designation. Type of vehicle may not matter to the public and what we show up in, but that does seem to have an impact for at least our younger officers of the vehicle that we're in. The vehicle of choice today, I think, is the Dodge Charger. We are talking with City Council about, is there any concerns with that from their perspective. I believe the council will be supportive of moving back to the Dodge Chargers in terms of vehicles that we are equipping our officers in the future. We're talking about more use of personal cell phones and a small stipend to a lot of our departmental employees for that. Current policy allows it. It's just a matter of expanding that to additional police officers. We are talking about paying for additional duties, where in the past, for instance, we had a field training officer have to take on new officers and train them for a period of 2 to 3 months to make sure they are up to standards and knowing what's going on in the community. We've not paid additionally for that, although it's additional work for the officer taking on that responsibility, and I think you'll see a change in that where we're paying additional money, at least while you're performing the duties of a field training officer. Expand our take-home car program. Currently, we don't allow officers to take vehicles outside of the city limits. I think we would expand that to allow it to within Wayne County, as well as investigators and school resource officers and others to take it beyond that. We issued tasers to our department, but the tasers we've issued are checked in and checked out. That's created some issues of people having to come in to check them out, also accountability for where that taser's been. One of the comments we received is, why couldn't we get enough tasers to have each officer have their own? We are working towards that, and I think in the coming months each officer will have a taser assigned to them and at least eliminate some of that aggravation or concern that we've heard. And again, so other activities going on with the department to, one, improve morale and increase our department retention. Early November, a lot of activities from the streetscape to Veterans Day. Would encourage you to be part of the community. Always, as always, if you'll check our city's Facebook page, from downtown events to Parks and Rec. There are a lot of activities in the community, a lot of ways to be involved, and again, it's a great time of year to be outside and enjoying our parks and moving through the community. Halloween will be here before our next update, so I would encourage you to have a safe Halloween. Look out for kids that are that evening, and again, if you're participating, have your porch light on Halloween evening. If you're not, turn your porch light off, and we encourage kids to trick-or-treat within the neighborhoods in which they live. So again, as residents, I hope you'll continue to enjoy this great October weather, and as we move into November, enjoy the trees changing colors and things of that nature. So again, I'll sign off for this month, but I want to say thank you. We are here to serve. We enjoy what we do. If you need us, there are multiple ways to contact us. You can call us. Again, 580-4330 would come to the manager's office. There's an email request on our Facebook, on our city website. There's a citizen request tab, and we have updated our city website. So if you'll take a look at that, what you're looking for is there. It may have moved to a different place, but the intent was to make it more user-friendly for you, our customer. So if you have comments or suggestions on areas where we can improve our website, we'd be happy to do that as well. Again, thank you, and call if we can be of service.